Welcome back to Kavanaugh's Corner. Today on the channel we're going to be doing a review here of another brand new 4K release. Actually, at the time of this video, of me doing this video I should say, this movie is not out yet, ironically enough. I've been really lucky lately to get some early releases. This one was not sent to me. I just happened to find it in a local video store that I love. And they got this in a few weeks early, so I was really excited to pick this up, and that is the new Arrow Video 4K of Demolition Man. This is it right here. Really love the fact that they kept the original poster art here. Really like that. And I also love the fact that they have a bunch of stuff in this package. This is an all-new 4K transfer here, and you can see here's the inside box art, and I love that with the SAPD, the San Angeles Police Department, with the badge back there. It says, "Be well." I love that. But this movie is a blast. Demolition Man is, no pun intended there, it really is a great time. And I've always enjoyed this movie. Sylvester Stallone's performance in this is phenomenal, and I just love how funny he is in this, and his comic timing in this is actually really good. Some of his films, his comedic talents just doesn't come through. He made a few really lousy comedies in the 80s, and this is, again, not one of them. This came out in 1993, and him and Wesley Snipes in this are both phenomenal. As is Sandra Bullock and Benjamin Bratt. This is just a great little box set here. I was very surprised. The inside here, there is a bunch of other packaging. This is the 60-page book that comes with it. I love it. Has the profanity violation, which is really funny. And inside, there's just a bunch of articles and behind-the-scenes stories and stuff about the film. I really like that. It also came with a double-sided poster, which I thought was kind of neat. And I'll see if I can unfold this here for you. I don't know if all this is going to get picked up on camera, but it has the new artwork of the Demolition Man logo there, so you can see that. And then the other side is the traditional poster art that we all know. Oh, that's pretty cool. And then it also came with the Edgar Friendly graffiti, and this is a sticker, which I thought was kind of cool. And it also came with the 3 seashells, which I get such a kick out. I thought this was so funny that they included this. But the funny thing is, this is just a 1-disc set. This is all for just a 1-disc 4K. And I know it's an all-new transfer. It's got Dolby Atmos. There's even a bunch of art cards inside that have all different things in there. And you can see Stallone all in the buff there. There you go, ladies. But anyway, it's really cool how they did all this in terms of packaging. And I even think this inside poster art here is actually reversible. It is. So you have reversible poster art for the disc as well, which I thought was pretty cool. And it's just a 1-disc set. It's just one 4K disc with the movie and all the special features that I'll be going over here in a little bit. But I noticed some people, $35, $40, depending on where you get it. That's going to be pretty steep for 1 disc. So in today's review, I'm going to be talking about the picture quality, the audio quality, and the special features. So let's see if Demolition Man is worth picking up. So as I mentioned earlier, Demolition Man does come with an all-new 4K transfer from the original 35mm camera negative. And this transfer was actually done by Arrow Video. So good for Arrow for actually taking the initiative and transferring this movie to 4K. This movie, again, to me, has always been a lot of fun to watch. It's a great action movie, but it's also really funny and has some really biting satire about just civilization in America from the early 90s. And it's funny because when this movie came out, it really wasn't very lauded. Critics were just kind of meh on it. Some people liked it, some people didn't. I'm on the side where I say that, this movie's actually kind of genius in its own weird way at times. And I think time has actually been really, really kind to Demolition Man. And my favorite thing about this movie, ironically enough, is the cinematography. For some reason, I really love the look of these Joel Silver action movies from the mid 80s to early 90s. They had a particular look to them. The Last Boy Scout, Lethal Weapon 3, Lethal Weapon 2 even, they all had a very particular look to them. And this movie is no different. And I'm really happy to say that Demolition Man here really looks spectacular in 4K. This has Dolby Vision HDR, and Arrow's transfer here was just spectacular. I love the look of this movie, and they did a great job of enhancing it, but not making it too overblown or oversaturated. The color palette that Dolby Vision affords this film is just so natural, and I really love that. It definitely has a filmic look to it. There is film grain throughout the picture, and I love that. They did not DNR anything in this film. The grain definitely has been mitigated. It did not look as heavy as it looked in previous iterations. The Blu-ray that this had previously from Warner Brothers, I think it came out in 2011. And that Blu-ray actually wasn't even in the right aspect ratio. That was in 2:40:1, and this is in the original 2:39:1. It's such a small thing, you probably won't even notice it. But I'm glad that they kept that same aspect ratio, and they did not overuse digital noise reduction. It has been mitigated, but it's still there, and clarity and everything has not been affected in any way for this movie. The detail level on this disc is incredible. The little pieces of the SAPD uniforms that you see the characters wear throughout really stand out now. You can see little metallic items that are on their uniforms. The colors of their collars really jump out. And Wesley Snipes' look in this movie, that bright blonde hair, the two different colored eyes, and all his crazy outfits throughout the film, they really do jump out at you. And I love the makeup effects in this movie too. There's really some great makeup jobs in this movie. And now with that Dolby Vision HDR and that 4K resolution, everything just looks so much better now. Everything just jumps out at you. And yeah, that transfer was just outstanding. The other thing I was really impressed about with this is the black levels on this disc are also so much better than that previous Blu-ray. The opening scene, any kind of nighttime scene or dark interior scene, especially the scenes where they go into the sewers, they look so much better now. And the bright daytime scenes also look super, super bright. Just everything looks very, very lifelike. Skin tones are very accurate in this. And even the muzzle flares from all the guns being fired and everything, they are super, super bright. I noticed a couple times that they actually got like extremely bright to the fact where the TV like lit up. Like it was very, very, very noticeable. And I loved it. And the big, big explosions in this movie also look absolutely stunning now. So yeah, that 4K transfer from Arrow, really, really great job. I was very, very impressed with that. Now, in terms of audio, this also got an all-new Dolby Atmos mix. They also included the original lossless 5.1 track, and it also includes two brand new audio commentaries on there as well. One of them is by director Marco Brambilla and screenwriter Daniel Waters, and there's another one by film historian Mike White of the Projection Booth podcast, and they also carried over the old audio commentary from the Blu-ray and DVD that had Marco Brambilla and producer Joel Silver. If you haven't heard that, that's a really interesting listen. I remember watching the movie back in the day with that commentary, and that was, it's a very eye-opening commentary. Now, I watched the film with the new Dolby Atmos track for this review, and I have to say, that Atmos track is pretty solid. I see it more of an extension from that DTS HD Master Audio track, the 5.1 that's also included on here. I think that track is really solid, and it has been for a long time. Even on the older Blu-ray, that was a really good audio track, but now that Dolby Atmos track just kicks it up a notch. The low end on that audio track was actually pretty impressive. The surround effects are outstanding. Gunshots, sound effects, voices, everything is placed extremely well. Now, the overheads aren't used a whole lot, but they are used at that opening scene with the big bungee jump stunt. And it's awesome. I was very, very impressed with how much they were able to utilize and stretch out the audio. Dialogue is crystal clear, and Elliot Goldenthal's music in Dolby Atmos also sounded phenomenal. And I don't know if it was just me or not, but I feel like I heard more of his music in that new audio track than I did previously. I don't know if it's just clearer or what, or if I'm just hearing things. But I definitely heard some music cues in that new Dolby Atmos track that I don't recall hearing in previous releases. It just sounded so good. Like I said, it's not like mind-blowing, but it's just a really great extension of that surround sound mix that's been out for a while now. It's a really, really good audio track. Now, as for the special features, this 4K disc does have quite a few of them. There's one that's actually called Demolition Design. That is an interview with David L. Snyder. That's a really interesting little interview with him. This is a guy who worked on some of the greatest sci-fi films, including Blade Runner and even the Super Mario Brothers movie there. That's definitely not one of the great films, but the production design in that movie really is incredible. And make sure you go watch my 2-part review of that, because that was a massive, huge box set. But his insight in how they got permission to shoot this film around Los Angeles and even Silicon Valley and stuff like that, it was really, really fascinating to hear him talk about all the hoops they had to jump through in order to shoot this movie in certain areas. That was a really, really insightful interview there. And then Cryo Action, a new interview with stunt coordinator Charles Persini. That was also really cool to hear about how they did some of the stunts in this movie. Again, this is when, a lot of stunts, well, basically all the stunts you see in the movie were all done for real. There's basically no CGI in this movie. There is some, but it's very, very minimal. And I love the fact that, there were real people jumping out of real helicopters and real people driving real cars that really crashed, and they actually knocked a friggin' building down at the beginning of this movie. They literally demolitioned a building at the beginning of this movie. And just stuff like that, you just don't see that anymore. Charles Persini is one of the originals. He did a lot of movies and TV shows over the course of 50, 60 years in the business. He's one of the best, and it was really cool hearing him talking about the stunts for this. There's another featurette on here with Chris Biggs, who did some of the body effects and makeup for the film. And that guy, again, another guy who's done a lot of work in special effects. All these guys are veterans. And that was probably one of the more interesting tidbits from the film, is that Chris actually had to make fake boobs for Sandra Bullock. And they show them in detail in that featurette. And it was just so interesting. She came in for a body cast. Sandra Bullock went in for a body cast, and they gave her an enhancement. So that was a really interesting thing to hear about. I never knew that about this movie. It's actually really funny. Either that or I didn't, I forgot. And there's another interview with Jeff Farley, who was the body effects set coordinator, and he talked about how they did the life-size casts of Wesley Snipes and Sylvester Stallone for the frozen body sequence, the cryo prison. And that's another really interesting thing, how they talked about they wanted to use one material, they had to use another for cost. Interesting stuff. So it's really great behind-the-scenes insights. The only special feature I wasn't too crazy about was that Somewhere Over the Rainbow, which was a visual essay by film scholar Josh Nelson. And it's an interesting take on the movie. I don't know if I would ever compare Demolition Man to The Wizard of Oz, but he makes some interesting points. I just thought it was kind of a stretch in certain ways. I always thought of the film as more of a Rip Van Winkle type thing. But I get where he was going with it, and it's an interesting take on the movie. But this is definitely not a movie I would ever compare to The Wizard of Oz. But hey, everybody has their opinion, and everybody has their own little thoughts and stuff on things, and he's not wrong for thinking it. So it's an interesting little visual essay that they included there. And it also comes with an image gallery in the original theatrical trailer. So what did I think about this new Arrow video of Demolition Man? I thought it was pretty cool. I enjoyed it. Like I said, the picture quality on it is great. It's definitely the best that this movie has ever looked, hands down, bar none. I'm really glad that they went with a natural approach, and it looks like the movie that I remember, just better, just enhanced. And they didn't overdo it with, DNR. They didn't, change the color timing of the movie. It just looks the way it should. The Dolby Atmos track on this was also excellent. And there's a ton of special features all on this one disc. The only regret that I would say with this is that it is kind of expensive at around $40 for just a one-disc set. You do get a nice book and a bunch of other cool stuff, but I guess if that's a little out of your budget, you might want to wait and see if they come out with a standard edition of it, because Arrow Video does tend to do that from time to time. So really, your mileage may vary. If you want to spend the cash on it, you're not going to regret it. I just wish that they had a standard Blu-ray included with it as well, instead of just the 4K disc, but it is what it is. It's better than nothing. I really love this movie. I always enjoy watching it. It always makes me laugh, and I always have a good time. It's just a fun action movie with some really biting satire in it, and I enjoy it. So I'll leave a link to this new Arrow Video Demolition Man 4K in the description below. That link goes to Amazon. If you use it, it does help me out here on the channel. And as always, if you enjoyed this video, make sure to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel, because we are growing here on Kavanaugh's Corner, and I cannot thank you enough, all of you that have subscribed recently and watched my recent videos. That Terminator video just went completely crazy, and I thank you so much for watching. And until next time, I wish you all the very best. Please stay safe, keep collecting, and take it easy.